give you a brief introduction to this episode. We're talking to Rich and Christa, two people who I met through doing trivia at the local pub. They are active Christians in their local church. This is a conversation about their activity, about faith and fellowship and love. This is part one of a two-part series, so make sure you tune in next week for the follow-up. I will be back at the end of this to give a little outro, and I guess that's all. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Welcome to Unequally Yoked Us Now. I am Neal Winters. I'm Neal Winters.
I'm Naomi.
And we are with Rich and Christa.
Rich and
Hello,
Christa.
hello.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Now that we're rolling, I think we'll be okay.
We're doing
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's settle in.
You are almost you are empty nesters. We're almost empty nesters. So
Yes.
this is our first time interviewing someone who's Jen was in fairly similar situation. She's got to get home, but yeah, and you were born in 1975.
I was.
Christa.
Yes. So we are the same age.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you were born in the first part of the year, and I was the latter part.
Yes. That would make me older.
So you graduated in 1993.
You just have to rub that
Yes, I
in.
did.
Rub it in.
It's okay. It makes him feel good. It's okay.
I feel good. And we know, and Rich, you were born in like 1940, right?
Exactly. At plus 30. I was almost a Christmas baby, so December 27th.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So there's like a 5-year?
5 and some change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations on that. Really quickly, we know each other through, I host trivia, and
Yes.
you guys, we met at trivia,
We did.
and now you don't come anymore because you go to church on Wednesdays instead.
That is true. Yes. Yes.
We're actually coming up on a summer break.
We are. Well, you'll see us again.
So our Wednesday nights will be freed up again, so we'll go do something else.
Okay. What do you do with the church on Wednesdays?
So they have a men's and women's ministry.
Uh-huh.
And so basically we get together in separate locations. The girls get the nice new building. The guys are in the old campus.
Guys get food though, so.
We
You
get
get
fed.
food?
We get fed.
How come the women don't get food? Because
I
the
mean,
guys aren't going to make it for you?
I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
And so I guess we can use their names as references, or
I don't know.
okay. Anyways, so one of the pastors, he runs the men's ministry. So he gives a message on Wednesday, and then ironically, his mother takes care of the women's.
His mother?
Yeah.
How old are they?
I mean, he's probably in his 30s.
Yeah, he's in his 30s.
And I don't know, that would make her
Probably 60s,
uh,
50s
I
or
would-
60s.
Yeah, I would say 50s. I don't think she's that old.
Yeah,
I don't know
everyone's
how
getting
she's
younger
like that.
now.
I have a feeling she was a really young mom, so we're gonna go with 50s.
Okay. Well, when our daughter turns 30, I'm 50 and she's 28. She's 28, so.
Oh wow, yeah. You
So,
got
yeah.
young too.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. That's our oldest. Now, so kind of a funny aside, I'm atheist, which,
Yes, I do.
is a lot of content. Like, we hate each other because of that.
So much hate. So much hate.
Theologically, yes. Personally, no.
So
We don't hate you.
there is
You don't hate anybody.
There is a group that comes into Bigo on Fridays, and
yes.
the lady, were you there? She
I don't know.
runs Christian tours, and
Oh,
she
yes.
asked my boss if I could come host
I was
Bingo
there.
for them, and I said I'd do it.
I was
I don't
there.
know. I don't know. It's not until November, but I'm gonna have to pick out Christian music for them to listen to. I'm like, ugh. So.
He keeps streaming like he's going to church.
Yeah, the
And
Christian
so
music.
he wakes up
Nice.
and he tells me, I'm not going to go to church.
I don't want to go. Not going
I'm
to
like,
church.
you don't have to. It's
You
okay.
don't have to. It's all right. If you want some help, I'll help you pick out some music.
Okay. All right. Perfect. What do you guys do with your church for your, you attend, are you like an elder or anything, or?
Nope.
I'm on the parking team. So every weekend they have I'm going to call it a group of volunteers. So what they'll do is they have first-time greeters, or people that greet first-time guests. They'll have folks that usher in the auditorium. We got a parking team because we have 2 services. So parking the first one's easy,
Yeah.
but parking the second one's not so easy because depending on when people show up, the cars aren't moving out fast enough. It's like a game you play on your phone.
Oh, really?
Trying to move people out and
Move the
traffic
cars.
jam. But so like I said, I'm on the parking team, and she was on Pursuit HQ, which was kind of took care of the volunteers as far as like meals and stuff like that. And now she's a greeter of the first time guests.
Oh no.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, when
I would love that job.
It's
Is it fun?
You're
to
so
meet
social.
Everyone,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
Really easy.
You're easy to talk to, so.
Yeah, you just have to be nice to people. Like that. It's pretty easy.
some people have a difficult time with that.
Maybe I don't though. I think I'm pretty good at that. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There's lots of different ways that you can be involved, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that or
Do you have aspirations of being an elder or anything like that?
Nope.
I wouldn't want it to.
no,
So our church is not. It's not what you would consider a traditional church. There's no there's very little process or politics to things. It's why we chose the church that we chose,
Mhm.
because they are God led and not process led,
Mhm.
not right. It's if they pray about it, and if God says I don't care, then they don't care. And they ran a building campaign fairly recently. We're in a very new building and already running out of room, and they're having to
Wow.
remodel, to make room for the children,
Yeah.
to make more classrooms and things. And they ran what they called the worst campaign ever, because they were like, well, pray about it, and if God puts it on your heart to give, then give, and if he doesn't, that's fine, and if we don't get the money, then we don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? If God is calling us to do this, then he'll provide. And so there's no guilt, shame, any kind of anything
Wow.
motivating that way, right? They're
Yeah.
like, here's an opportunity. If God puts it on your heart to contribute, great. If he doesn't, that's okay too.
So are they able to raise it?
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, they needed 500,000, and I think that first week or first 2 weeks, something like that, they ended up with 497,000 or something. Yeah. So God is working in that place. But anyway, that's one of the reasons we chose that, is because they are God led. And I think one of the first sermons we heard, Taylor, the senior pastor there, said, we're going to do things differently. If you're coming to this church and you're expecting it to be like every other church, it's not going to happen.
Like, what are some of the differences?
Yeah.
I mean, what does God-led mean compared to, if I go to a Baptist church or Lutheran church or something, what's going to be the difference?
Well, that's a good question. I think really it's just that they pray about everything, and they let that guide what they do, what they choose to do, where they put their money, where they don't and they don't turn anybody away. He mentioned the PHQ earlier. We feed our volunteers every Sunday. All the volunteers get a small breakfast, and then they're fed lunch. But if somebody walks in there and they're hungry, we don't ever turn anybody away, right? It's a volunteer lunch. Technically, it's for the volunteers. But if there's a hungry family,
You need food.
everybody is welcome.
Is the food good? I need to decide if I
Can
want
be.
to come.
It can be. It is. It's homemade.
Is it got
So-
green beans?
But sometimes.
Then I'm not coming.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
what it is, Neil.
Yeah,
We'll,
sure.
we'll figure out the menu a week ahead and let you know.
Okay,
We'll let you know.
perfect.
We'll let you know.
Make it
Yeah.
approved.
They just do things differently. Yeah.
Yeah, when I left Mormonism, Naomi said, I want you to go to church still. So I went to a Christian church for a year.
Yeah.
And I still have really good Facebook friends from that church. Like the fellowship in Christianity. That's one of the things I miss the most about going to church is the fellowship and the community. And we atheists, we heathens don't have that the same way.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it makes sense.
And the music.
And the music.
Always
I do miss
listening
music.
to music.
I still listen to Handel's Messiah.
Aww.
I love
it's beautiful.
One of our
Messiah.
favorites.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, I would say the biggest difference is that they don't tell you what you want to hear, right? Like, like so many people are just, so many churches these days are just telling you what you want to hear. It's the feel-good stuff. Not that they're up there doing the opposite, which a lot of churches do too, right? The whole fire and brimstone and if you do this, you're going to hell or whatever. Like, they don't do that either. It's very real and it's very relational, and it all comes back to it's a relationship, because Christianity is not, I mean, I guess technically it's a religion, but true Christianity is not a religion. It's a relationship. And it's about a personal relationship with Jesus. And it's not what happens in those four walls, right? It's not what happens on Sunday morning. It's what happens in my life.
Right.
In your life. And, you know.
That's what I always felt about, like, my faith was the most important thing was always to have a relationship with your higher power. It's, I mean, if you don't, like, it just seemed like the point to me. Because
it is the point, yeah.
That was the whole point. Like, if you miss that, it's really sad. And for me, like, AA has become that for me. Like, it's become not a religion, but like we get together and it's a fellowship, and it's, you know, we're trying to live life where you're being kind and helping and doing good, and not just a relationship like with the higher power, but a relationship with everyone around me that is positive and lifts.
And encouraging.
And that's what I see with both of you. Like, just talking to you a little bit about your life, that's everything about you is, let me, you know, how can I help lift and be kind and spread love? And that's the first thing I got. Like, the first thing I got when I came in here was a hug from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that.
Aww.
I really admire that. It means a lot to me. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that means a lot to me too. I mean, obviously, I read the Bible, I study it, I pray, I have a relationship with Jesus, and in it says that the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, right?
Yeah.
Those are the things. If somebody has a relationship with Jesus, with God, those are the things you should see.
Yeah.
Right? Not judgment and scrutiny and hatred or any of those other things. If that's what you're seeing, then it's not of God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which is interesting to me. Tell me what you think about this.
Yeah.
Are you going to get into controversy?
Yeah, should I?
No, go ahead.
Jump in, girl. Come on. Let's go.
I still consider him a little bit of a man of God because his actions are the same as if he was a believer. He's kind, he's loving, he's tolerant, he's very giving, non-judgmental, like all the qualities that I'm like, yeah, I dig that.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are your thoughts about that? Like, how do you, like, if you were,
How do I explain how he is?
yeah.
Don't. That's impossible.
I mean, obviously, he's a good man, right? Like, we all know this.
Yeah.
He's kind, he's funny, he's sweet, he's patient.
Yeah.
I know enough to know that.
But not like, do you guys get saved? Like, are you saved?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
for sure.
So not that, and not like the belief in God and
Yeah.
Jesus, and just
Yes.
really, yeah. So it's different, right?
I mean,
There's still a foundation of being, for lack of a better term, a decent person.
Yeah.
You know, being kind, you know, being helpful and considerate.
who he is not being.
So even he's got the foundation and he's kept that foundation. It just hasn't gone to waste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole idea is that people get away from the church that they tend to, and I can't speak for anybody, but they would seem to tend to get away from the base values that they had in church.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, having said that, you know, he might not have been in church for however many years, but he still has the base qualities of a good person. But it's having those base qualities, doesn't matter if you're an atheist or not. You
Yeah,
still have base qualities of being a good person.
it's part of who he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try to be.
I would even take it a little step further. So I'm right now kind of transitioning out of a marketing job into corporate marketing job into more of a coaching, and I'm going to do faith-based coaching. Yeah, and really helping people get unstuck, figure out who they are, and part of that is knowing who you are and healing the parts of you that have we carry around a lot of hurt as people.
Mm-hmm.
We just do. In this broken world, there are things that hurt us from early on, and there are a lot of people who don't know how to feel their pain and fully heal from it. And I think a lot of the hurt that happens in the world comes from hurt people who
Yeah,
haven't
absolutely.
learned how to heal, who haven't had their needs met, who don't have a sense of who they are, right? When you have grown up in a place where you can do that and you can heal from hurt, you don't need to be mean to other people. You don't need to be reactive. You don't need to be, right? You don't need to be any of those things. And so I think having a heart that can feel and heal leads you to having a good sense of who you are, and you can be kind, and you know what I mean. So I would say that is more of a symptom of how well adjusted he is.
Yeah.
I don't
We're
know.
working on it.
We're working on it. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's
Yeah.
perfect, but I do get the sense that he's completely open and honest. I think one of the things that his lack of faith has given him is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you can tell me, is this acceptance of it? It is what it is, and I am who I am, and like there's no apologies for that, right? Like
Right.
It's the ability to be completely and open and honest. One of the things that I see in the Christian community and in the church specifically is this idea that people have that once they're saved, they then have to be perfect. And we're not. Nobody is.
Mhm.
Can't be. So there's this idea that, okay, well, I have to pretend like I'm perfect. I have to pretend like I'm good. I have to pretend like I'm, and then we get stuck in this place where we have to pretend, right? We have to pretend like we're this good, righteous person, even if we're hurting. And we tend to avoid the things that hurt us. We tend to avoid the things that are hard. We tend to avoid the things that would cause controversy or, right, out of this sense of righteousness. And that's not what God is calling us to do at all, right? If you're going to do anything that's worth anything, it starts with honesty. And a lot of people are just not honest with themselves.
No, I think that's a human nature quality.
For sure.
We know
For sure.
we have friends that are
Oh, let's
delusional.
be real, everyone.
Like this
everyone
person
is
that I know is
delusional
so
to some
delusional.
point.
His name is Rich, and
Somebody else, right?
Yeah,
No,
that
but
guy.
yeah, but it's amazing, and just the whole concept of lying to yourself, even
Oh,
even
yeah.
and not knowing that you're lying to yourself.
Because
Yes.
you've been lying to yourself for so long.
Yes.
And we've been talking a little bit about how when you see qualities in other people or characteristics that are really driving you nuts, it's most likely something that you are struggling with yourself.
Yes.
A behavior that drives you nuts about yourself.
Yes.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but a lot of times you're unaware.
Oh,
you think you're
completely.
not like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a scripture about that.
Yes,
So
there
throw
is.
this out. That it says, and I couldn't tell you where it is because I'm not a scholar, but it says, hey, why don't you remove the log from your own eye before you talk about the speck in your neighbor's, right?
Yeah.
It is that is human nature. We can see what's wrong with other people before we see it in ourselves. I will go back to the Bible and I will probably reference it. I'm like, oh yeah, the Bible says this, and the Bible says
That's
this,
fine.
because it does.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible how we can miss things and how we can not see things, right? A log that's in our own eye, we will completely ignore. Yeah, and pull it on somebody else's.
I'm very curious. What was your upbringing? I'm going to ask each of you this, of religion, of spiritual beliefs, of faith. What was it like in your home growing up?
Yeah.
What were you taught?
Ooh,
This is going to be real good. Yeah.
Okay, let's get there.
So, my grandparents were Lutheran.
Okay.
And I went to VBS with them every summer. I stayed with my grandparents.
Vacation Bible study.
Vacation Bible school when you're
School,
when you're
okay.
kids. Yeah,
VBS.
VBS.
It ruins a week of your summer.
It does. I mean, it's fun. It's kid appropriate. You get to do crafts and have snacks and all that fun stuff. So I went with them when I was growing up. We've had conversations about this. My mom would put me on a train. We lived in Alpine, Texas at the time, which is right in the middle of nowhere, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And my grandparents lived in El Paso, so it was about I'd say about a 6-hour train ride. And I was 7, 8, 9, and my mom would put me on a train by myself. Right?
Wow.
He had this same reaction. I was like, I did it every
I
summer.
mean, back then,
Right? It was
they
different.
did things like that.
I took a train from Price to Salt Lake alone one time,
Yeah.
with my brother. But yeah,
So, yeah,
Traveling as kids back in the 80s.
So
That's
different.
different.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, early 80s. But anyway, so that was my first, I would say, my first kind of intro to faith of any kind. We started going to church when I was probably around that time, 8, 9, 10. We very much, we went to church on Sunday mornings, but that was it. Yeah, you went to church because that was just what you did, but faith was not something we lived out at home. My mom, she went on a walk to Emmaus. You'll have to Google that, I guess, but
Walk to Emmaus.
Walk to Emmaus. It's
AMAES.
EMMAUS.
Oh, EMM. Is that in the Middle East?
Emmaus was a town about a day's walk from Jerusalem
Okay.
at the time, and it's based on a story. Right after Jesus was raised to life, he revealed himself to 2 men walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus.
Okay.
It's called Walk to Emmaus.
Okay.
But nowadays, modern day Walk to Emmaus, this movement it's a spiritual retreat, and it's basically 3 days where they kind of walk you through what it looks like to be a Christian, and they talk about the different kinds of grace and what it means to to study and what it looks like, just kind of the mechanics of it, I guess. But it is a place where very spiritual things happen. Anyway, my mom experienced this, and they have a version for teenagers called Chrysalis. So I went on that walk when I was 15, and that was where I experienced God, like truly experienced God for the first time.
Yeah.
Where you're in this bubble with no distractions and no, nothing to get in the way, that you can truly experience God. So that's where I experienced God for the first time. And then my dad did the same thing. So looking back now, when my dad went on his walk and then he was saved and then he became a Christian, his life changed. I could see the difference in him from before to after.
Mm-hmm.
I would not say that it was the same really with my mom. So there are people who can experience God who still don't accept him, right? And then there are people who experience God and are changed. Anyway, so I was saved when I was 15. Does that mean that I have always been and have led a perfect life? No. Far from it. Far from it. There have been times in my life where I tried to run away, and he pulled me back in. So anyway, that's my childhood. We can get into the rest of it later if you want.
And how about you, Rich?
So childhood, my grandparents on my mom's side, they were founding members of Central Christian Church in Charleston, South Carolina. So that's where I was raised, traditional. You wore your Sunday best, you went and you sang your hymns. And
Did you have a hymn book?
not a personal one.
I mean, the church had in the
church,
pews.
yeah, in the pews. So as a kid, you would go to junior church after Sunday school, and so that's where preteen, where the preteen kids went, and they had a youth minister, and then eventually, you got to go into the sanctuary with the adults. But it was very structured. It's
regimented.
yes. You sang hymns and you listened to the sermon, and then you sang another one, and then they had prayer, and then you left.
Did you do communion?
Yes. So my grandfather baptized me. I was 13 or 14, and I've told her this on more than one occasion, and I've told some of the pastors that we've talked with that at 13, 14, I was going through some things. My parents had just got divorced, so there was a lot of not sure what was going on, stuff happened in my head. So I know I was baptized. I know that Jesus died for my sins, and through his blood and the baptism that I was saved. And like Christa said, there's not having lived the life that I should have. So that was pretty much the childhood. I quit going really once I got a license. My mom, if she could get us a ride to church, she never went after that. And then once I started driving, then I wasn't obligated to go. And so even before that, my mom would go. My dad was a holiday attender, so Easter, Christmas, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing, I would say routine, but nothing
Regular.
That's it. Nothing regular that they went. And so it really wasn't instilled in me at that point that once you make other arrangements, you don't have to necessarily go. So I think the last time I quit going to church whenever I was a kid was 16 or 17, and then we started going back to church in February 24.
Was there like an event that changed you, that led you in that direction?
As far as going back to church?
Yeah.
Yes, there was. And that was sparing all the details. It was basically something happened on my part, and so there was a time when it was, we're going to go back to church. She had attended, before we met. But I hadn't gone to church in 30 years.
Wow.
It was an easy number to use. And so, January 2024, February, around that time frame, we were living in Lexington, South Carolina at the time, and we attended Mount Horeb Church. We flipped a coin because Mount Horeb has traditional and contemporary, and I was raised traditional. And so we flipped a coin. We went to traditional the first weekend, and we went to contemporary the next weekend. And we've been going to a more contemporary style since.
I certainly enjoyed the more contemporary, because Mormonism is more traditional. And when I went to Mighty Christian Church in Utah, I was like, it was a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my brother had started a church down in Goose Creek, South Carolina, that's contemporary, but when I went, it was hard for me to, lack of a better term, accept how they worshiped. Excuse me.
Just didn't feel comfortable there.
It just seemed there was more production value, and and here again, I had gone to church in 30-something years, so especially seeing a contemporary, setup, just the way the people worship. Not that the message was anything wrong with it.
Nothing different. Yeah.
It's just that the way they did it is, I'm going like, that's not for me. And she's gone with me a couple times.
I liked it.
But and I when we were dating, I went to her church in Apex a couple times, and so kind of eased me back into the church.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say he had to get to the point where he broadened his horizons a little bit, right? Like his idea of what he thought it meant, all of his experience was traditional, right? And so he had in his mind this like traditional way of worshiping. He had to kind of expand those a little bit and embrace the contemporary, which I think he has at this point. But
I think one of my first experiences of attending a contemporary worship service was actually at Rick Warren's church.
Oh, was it really?
In California. Yeah, I was consulting at Patty, which is like the scuba diving place.
Oh, okay.
And my coworker's like, I'm gonna go to church, you want to come? And it was a Wednesday night. Rick Warren spoke and got it. He's like, I'm not charging any money. I'm doing this for free. I made all my money for my book. I don't need to make money from church.
That's good.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful campus. I mean,
I'm
it was
sure it was.
gorgeous. And
Sure was.
so, I mean, but he seemed to practice what he preached based on my 35th row observations.
Based from where you were.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's an author and a speaker and
He's a pastor too. Purpose-Driven Life, I think, is his book. I think I got that book.
yeah.
He's a well-known Christian pastor.
Yeah. Really well known. I don't really know much about him.
I just wanted to throw his name around and say I've been to his church.
I've been.
Okay, well, good for you.
Well, I've been to Jerusalem.
If you were trying to impress me, like,
Wasn't it?
that was it.
Fail.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right.
It's all good.
So how did there's definitely a subject that I'm holding off getting to. You probably know what that subject is.
Probably.
I don't.
But I first want to find out like how you guys met and came together and decided to go to church together and all that fun stuff.
Ooh, that's a story. Well, we met at UPS. We were both working
Like
at UPS.
United Parcel Service.
Yes.
We both worked for them. Yeah.
Okay. I worked for them right after my mission. They were a great company.
Did you? Yeah.
They
I loved
were
it.
wonderful. Anyway, go on.
No, well, I was working there because I was a single mom and I had 2 kids, and my full-time job didn't have benefits, and you could work part-time for UPS and get benefits. And so I worked part-time from 3:30 to 7 in the morning at UPS at the airport, unloading airplanes.
Wow.
And then I would go home and get my kids ready for school, and then I would go work a full-time job from 10 to 6. And he worked at UPS too. He was down in Goldsboro. I was in Raleigh at the time. And then he would drive for them.
So Goldsboro's about an hour, 10 minutes away, depending on traffic when you hit 70 and 40 at the merge. And so I would leave Goldsboro about 3:30, 3:45, get to the airport. So when she unloaded the airplanes, I would pick up the packages that were assigned to me, and then I would turn around and head back to Goldsboro. So I was on the road a lot.
So are you a CDL?
No, it was just a regular delivery truck driver.
Oh, okay.
But that's how we met.
Yeah.
So would you see each other most days then?
Yeah.
Tuesday through
Tuesday through
Friday.
Friday?
You didn't work Saturday.
I did work Saturday.
Sometimes.
So how long
I
was
remember.
like your
That was a long time
FaceTime
ago.
with each other?
I mean, it
When you'd
depended
see
if the
each
planes
other.
were on time.
An hour or two.
An hour or 2.
Did you work like side by side, loading and unloading?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Wow.
So whenever, if I was driving my normal route, I would see her in the building for maybe 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and then when the airplanes landed, she would have to go outside and unload the airplanes, and I would still get packages inside, and then I would leave. Now, if the driver that normally would park on the ramp to pick up the next day air shipment was off, then I would drive his truck, somebody else would drive mine, and then we would see each other for an
Pretty
hour,
much the whole time.
an hour or two. And
Well,
if the
I will
planes were
say,
You're
late-
like, how about I drive that?
Well, when I first started there, he had already been working there for
I started
a year or
in
so.
2014,
When did you retire from the Air Force?
March of 2014.
Okay, so that was your first job after retiring. Okay.
And then I didn't start there until
May of
16.
2016.
Yes.
So you had 2 lonely years.
Of
2 lonely
driving-
years.
Oh.
Yes, driving it to the airport was horrible.
Bless your
Especially-
heart.
I
especially
know,
in the
right?
garbage
I love
truck.
that phrase.
Anyways.
It's so versatile. But when I started, he was driving for the other driver. He was on some kind of medical leave, and
Okay.
The other driver was?
the other driver
Oh, that's
was.
right. So
And he had stepped in for him for like 3 months, I think. So the first 3 months that I worked there,
she was stuck with me.
we spent a lot of time in the same
Yeah.
place. Yeah. Anyway,
Just
so
the microphone's still on.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
long did
I'm
he can hear.
monitoring it.
Okay, good.
So that's how we met.
Yeah.
And then I worked at UPS until I got a full-time job that had benefits, and then I quit.
Yeah.
So-
How long did it take
4
till
years.
you were like dating?
Oh goodness.
Did you go out to forbidden breakfasts?
Yes, we did. As a matter of fact,
Bojangles.
if the plane was late, the Bojangles down the street opened at 5:30. Yeah, we'd hop over there and grab some breakfast. Usually we were brought back for other people too, but yeah,
But you'd go together.
definitely. Oh, for sure.
Was it?
Okay.
And did you ask? Was it love at first sight? Did it take a little bit to build up?
It was. I would not say it was love at first sight. I would say it took some time.
Yeah.
Well, and I honestly had no interest in getting remarried again. None. And told him as much. I was like, I have no interest. None.
Yeah.
I just wore her down.
Actually, it was my kid. It was my kid. When I was talking to her at one point, we had been dating for a while at that point, and I was like, he's a really nice guy. Don't you want to get to know him? And she was like, no, he's not going to be around. Like, I don't want to get attached and like, and then be devastated when he's not, when he decides not to stay or whatever. And I was like, oh. And he had been around for a long time at that point. So like, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to show her that he's not going
He's
anywhere.
going. He's staying.
The first time I met her was at a sheets in front of her friends.
Yeah, poor lady.
Totally embarrassed her.
We did not plan that, but she asked me for money, and I was like, okay, we're gonna stop by and give her money, but and also she's gonna meet him for the first time. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Was this before or after you quit UPS?
Oh, way after.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, so okay.
way after.
So do you have are you previously married too, Rich?
Yes.
Do you have kids?
No.
Okay. Just stepkids with Krista. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I think she was still in high school at the time, so she was probably 16, 17, and
Ooh, I think she was younger than that.
I honestly don't remember. I'd have to do the math, but
Well,
I don't want to do the math. It's fine. Anyway, she was in high school.
Here's another question. This is a silly question. One that I want to start asking on all of our podcasts. What makes you happy?
Oh, chickens.
Chickens.
you think she's kidding, but she's not.
I'm not.
Best answer.
Chickens. So when we were in Lexington, I told him we had just over an acre, and I told him when we bought it, I'm like, I really want chickens. And he's like, okay. Well, I think it had been 3 years or so, and was it not that long?
Not that long.
I don't remember how long it was, but anyway, I was like, we're gonna get chickens, and he was like, okay.
July of 22, we just bought the first fifth wheel on the truck.
He was thinking, okay, like in 9 months or a year, maybe we'll get chickens, and then I was like, let's go to Tractor Supply and look at the chicks. And he was like, all right. And then we came home with chicks, and then he's like, oh crap, what just happened?
Oh my.
Chickens.
Well, because you need to have a place for them
To be.
Oh, we had nothing.
Yeah, there was no prep work before going to Tractor Supply going, hey, we're going to bring chickens
We're gonna
home.
get
Well,
some
before we
chickens.
bring them home, let's build them a place that they can, what's the word I'm looking for?
Coop.
It's a brooder. We need
Yeah,
a
the brooder.
Brooder.
What now?
Brooder? Yeah. They need a place with a warming lamp and like.
Right.
Yeah,
I've seen those.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
I didn't know what they were
brooder box is what they call
called.
it, I think.
So we hadn't even,
Oh no planning whatsoever. We just had chickens.
so then we had to go back to Lowe's and or Tractor Supply and get all the stuff.
But it all worked out. It was great, and they
Yeah.
were. So Thelma, she was a chicken.
Oh, and did you eat her?
No.
I don't relate.
They're egg-laying chickens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chickens, meat chickens and egg-laying chickens are two very different breeds, different kinds. So you buy meat chickens if you want to kill them and eat them, and you buy egg-laying chickens if you want eggs.
And if you want friends, probably.
And if you want friends, probably, yes. Yeah.
Friends that have
But
a
I loved my chickens. They had just such little distinct personalities, and they were so fun, and yeah.
Now you're in an HOA.
Now I'm in an HOA, and I had to give the chickens to the neighbor. So I mean, they're still down there, and they're still doing really well, and still producing eggs. I'm sure they were great chickens. But, yeah,
I
had
love
to-
fresh eggs.
So I heard a rumor you guys were thinking about moving.
We have
What?
we bought 18 acres. Yeah, just across the border into South
Yeah.
Carolina. Yeah, it's only an hour away. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Are you selling this place?
Eventually. Yeah. Yeah.
There'll be some logistics. So basically we bought raw land.
Oh, okay.
It'll take us a while though.
There's nothing on it. We just got the FERC test done for septic on Friday. We'll close on the 15th, but we still have, driveway to put in, septic to,
Well to
plan
dig.
out and well to dig. So it's,
Is there a house,
House
on
to
it?
build,
House
no.
to build. Okay.
How many acres?
18.
18.
Just over 18.
Are you gonna build a rose farm, like a 18-acre rose farm?
No.
no.
But we'll have chickens.
Are you gonna take Thelma Lou back?
No. Well, she's got a good home.
Okay.
She's with her other ladies. So,
You'll find replacements.
we'll find, yeah.
We can name them the same thing if we want to.
Yeah,
We
that's
can,
true.
but I don't know that I will. Like, I don't know. They were their own.
There was only
Yeah.
one. Thelma
But though
there.
my chickens made me really happy.
So what about you, Rich? What brings you happy? What makes you happy?
I miss messing around in my shop, just puttering.
Puttering, being in the garage.
Is the technical word for it.
Yeah.
Are you like, you're kind of you're mechanically inclined, right?
Yes.
So we've had race cars in the past, and so just messing with cars in general, and puttering in my shop. So we bought the house in December of 20, and then February, March of 21, we put a pretty good sized shop in the backyard. I mean, we had an acre, so we have plenty of room. And so, it's just where we go and do wood. I mean, we've got the car side, and then we've got a wood shop side. So we would go and build stuff on the wood shop side, but just puttering around in the shop and organizing and cleaning and stuff like that. That was my happy place.
Oh.
So this has got to be rough. This has got to be rough living in an HOA.
Yeah, you gotta
away
get
from
somewhere
property.
you
No
can do your-
chickens, no shop.
Oh,
I mean, he does have a small, tiny garage that he can putter a little bit in.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not the same.
It's not the same.
I can't putter too much with your car in it.
That's true.
That's true.
Hey, at least you have a garage you can fit your car in.
I have a little car, so that helps.
I don't care how they describe a 2-car garage.
It's
not.
Yeah, it's not really. Yeah.
everything's smaller. Okay, so okay.
Regroup.
One of the things that you mentioned is that you are thinking about starting a podcast.
Yes.
What do you want to call that podcast, and what is the theme around it?
Ooh, that is a good question. So one of the things that I've kicked around, I don't know if I'm actually going to call it this or not, but kind of the question that it keeps coming back to is who told you, right? And it started with this idea of the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, and after they are deceived by the serpent, they eat the fruit that they're not supposed to eat, that they know they're not supposed to eat, right? And God comes looking for them, and Adam says, hey, we were naked, and I was afraid, and he was afraid of him and afraid of what he would do, and they were ashamed. It was the first time that shame had entered the world, and God's response to them was, who told you? Who told you you were naked? Like, you have always been naked, right?
Yeah,
who told? But who told you? Because you didn't know that before. It never mattered before. And he was like, did you eat of the fruit that I told you not to eat of, right? So nowadays, when we live in guilt and shame, which we all do at some point or another, like we're all, at some point, we all get stuck there. I keep coming back to who told you? Who told you? Because when I got stuck in guilt and shame, it was nothing that God told me. It was nothing that, it was nothing even that I had done. It was the lie that I believed. And so, anyway, and there are many circumstances where we get stuck in guilt and shame, and guilt and shame is not of God. Nowhere in that book, anywhere, does it say you should feel guilty or you should be ashamed. Not once. Every single sinner that comes to Jesus, he says, go and sin no more. Your faith has saved you. You're right. And he came to save, and the enemy is the one that seeks to rob and kill and destroy. And that's what guilt and shame does. It serves no purpose.
Right.
And so anyway, so I would like to, I have this idea of starting this podcast.
I love that.
Yeah. And who told you is what his.
Well, you told me that's what the podcast was.
Yeah, oh, you're right. That was me.
You told us.
And then I get look forward to carrying all this stuff around just for podcasts.
Yeah.
All the equipment, yes. Yeah, that'd be funny. But that's the idea behind it. I think I'd like to do that. And I mentioned that I'm transitioning into this faith-based coaching thing, and that's definitely a part of what.
Are you going to be like a sole proprietor faith-based coaching, or is there a company you're going to work for? How's that going to
No,
work?
just me.
Do you have clients already? Are you
me.
building it up?
I am in the beginning phases. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm actually starting to do some like free sessions. So if anybody's interested and wants to let me hone and refine those skills,
Yeah.
certainly open to doing some.
Do you have a website yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay. I was
No.
going to say if you did, I'd put it on our little notes and.
Well, I think I'm going to call it Refined Life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God uses those moments to refine us, I think.
Well, if and when you come up with when you put up your website,
Yeah.
I'll go back and put it on the
And link it.
and link it. The other.
Hi, it's Neal again. Thank you for watching this first episode, and we'll be back again next week with part 2 for more discussions about faith, LGBTQ issues, and other interesting topics with Rich and Christa. Have a good week. Bye-bye.